You keep waiting for clarity, but you keep watching other men lead with confidence, and you're thinking to yourself, what do they have that I don't? Let me tell you the truth, friend. They are not more gifted than you. They are just walking in radical obedience, because sometimes God's not waiting for you to gain your clarity. He's waiting for your obedience. And this procrastination that you're experiencing is just disobedience in disguise. And if you don't conquer it now, it'll choke everything that actually matters. So if you have ever said, I'll do it later, but tomorrow turns into the next day, turns into the next day, turns into next year, stick around, friend, because I'm about to show you how to crush procrastination with radical faithfulness. But first, what's up, fam? I'm Red Wallace, mindset coach, and the founder of the Better Than Best Academy that you are tuned into right now, where we help high-achieving Christian men like you chisel away the lies that have been holding you back to see yourself the way that God sees you and step into your true identity and purpose. And today we are cracking open the truth most men run from. That's procrastination isn't about laziness. It's about misaligned loyalty. Let me tell you a story first. A few years ago, I was stuck. Not stuck like flat tire on the side of the road, but I was slowly drifting. Still moving, still posting, and still doing things, but I knew something in my spirit was off. And God had been nudging me for months to take this very podcast from just audio, as it had been for years, to making videos for YouTube. And you see, I had the mic, I had the message, I even had the ability and the charisma, but I kept telling myself I needed the perfect lighting. I needed a better camera, a full strategy, even an intro, theme music, maybe even a custom neon sign. What I really needed was radical obedience. And one night while I was praying, I felt like the Holy Spirit hit me with this. Your delay isn't wisdom, it's disobedience dressed up as preparation. That crushed me. Because every day when I was waiting, I wasn't just delaying a task. I was telling God, nah, fam, my timing is better than yours. After this happened, the next week, I launched. It wasn't great. I used my phone camera and another camera from my wife's Surface Pro tablet. I stumbled through the teleprompter notes like a third grader trying to read a college textbook, but I kept showing up. I kept pressing record. And now, fast forward to today, and thousands of men like you are being reached. And not because I had a strategy or had it all figured out, but because I started showing up. Big impact often begins with small, unseen obedience. I'm talking about those early morning Bible devotional times before anyone else wakes up, those late night prayers when you're dead tired, silent consistency behind the scenes when no one is clapping. Let me ask you something hard. What's your delay costing you? Because procrastination cost you more than time. It cost you your marriage. That date night you've been meaning to plan but keep rescheduling because it's just not top priority. She's starting to believe your work matters more than she does, bro. It's gonna cost you your kids. That talk about Jesus that you'll get to later, they're learning more from TikTok and Instagram. In the meantime, it can cost you your calling. That open door God has set before you, if you don't walk through it, someone else will. James 4:17 says it plainly. If anyone knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin. Every delay deepens the rut of unfaithfulness and makes it harder to obey the next time. So how do you know if you're waiting is God's timing or your own excuse? You can ask yourself, is this delay protecting my comfort or propelling me into God's calling for my life? Or you can ask, have I actually prayed for clarity on this, or am I just avoiding the discomfort in the hard conversations? Would I move forward today if I knew that there was a 0 chance of failing? If your gut check says fear, that is procrastination in disguise. I had a high-level client of mine that could command a whole entire company, but he kept putting off the hard, courageous conversation with his teenage son. He said, I'll do it when things calm down at work. Well, newsflash, friend, things won't calm down in work. Months went by, his son drifted and their bond broken. When he finally sat down with his son, the boy looked him in the eyes and said, Dad, I thought you didn't even care anymore. That wrecked him. Faithfulness and fatherhood isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up when it's hard, when it's inconvenient. That is why faithfulness is more than just a fruit of the Spirit. It's a mirror of God's character. Lamentations 3:23 says, "Great is your faithfulness." God doesn't hit that snooze button like we do. He doesn't reschedule things when times get hard like we do. He doesn't say later when he really means never. So if you want to reflect him as a husband, a father, and a leader, you can't afford to keep putting off the things that you know he needs you to do now. In your marriage, faithfulness means guarding your eyes, your words, your calendar, even when no one is looking. In fatherhood, it's Psalm 78 that says, we are called to pass on the truth of God to the next generation. In your leadership, Luke 16:10 reminds us, whoever is faithful with little will also be faithful with much. The kingdom expands through men who don't just talk faith, but they live and walk it out. Think about Abraham. God said, go, and he packed up everything, and not even knowing where. Or you look at Peter. Jesus said, follow me. And he dropped his nets on the spot. You see that pattern? God moves now, his people follow now, and the fruit comes later. But our culture, it's allergic to discomfort, and it is addicted to instant gratification. We wanted it yesterday, and we don't even want to sweat to get it. We want instant results, perfect plans, guaranteed outcomes, so we wait instead. We stall and scroll and wonder why we're dry and drained and doubting ourselves. Let me give you a fresh perspective of this. But wait, before we go any further, you must stop pretending like everything is all right. Sure, you've got the career and the business in check, but you have lost yourself and what matters most. You've got the house, the cars, the watch, but you feel like you're running out of time. Your wife feels more like a roommate than a lover, and now your kids have grown used to your absence, and your faith feels more distant than ever before. I want to invite you into the Redprint Intensive. In just 90 days, it takes high-achieving Christian men and leaders and chisels away the lies, the pride, and the distractions until only your God-given identity remains. This isn't for dabblers, though. This is for men that are ready to become dangerous to the enemy and live out a kingdom legacy now. Now, if that is you, then you can apply by finding the link in the description, and we will start when you are ready. And I know, and you know that you are ready. Now, I can't wait to see you inside. And with all that said, let's get back to today's episode. Now imagine 2 houseplants. You water one right away, and the other you say, oh, I'll get to it eventually. And weeks go by, it wilts beyond repair. You see, opportunity and obedience works the same way. Procrastination is slow motion disobedience, but faithfulness is immediate obedience. You see, Noah didn't wait for the rain to start building, and the servant who buried his talents, he wasn't punished for failure, but for doing nothing. Let me pause here and speak directly to one of my clients that said recently, he shared with me, and maybe it's your story too. He said, I struggle with the desire to be a high performer in my job. So much of that is giving me a level of anxiety I don't know how to deal with, and it bleeds into my home life. I find myself quick to anger with my wife and kids, and I struggle to separate my role as a leader at work from being present father and husband with my family. I need peace, but I also need tangible action steps. Please pray, but also tell me what to do. If that story sounds like you, if that hits you in the chest like it did me, don't ignore it. Here's what I told him. And what I'm telling you right now, you are not alone. That tension between performance and presence, it's one of the most common attacks on high-achieving men like you. We want to win at work, but we end up losing at home in the process. We are so committed to excellence that we burn through peace like a matchbook in a windstorm. And the cost is not just our stress, it's our connection with your wife, with your kids, with yourself, and even with the most important relationship in your life, with God. But here's the truth. You don't have to choose between excellence and being at peace. You just need radical alignment. And alignment starts with obedience, not performance. Not doing more, but choosing what matters more in the moment. Not just in the moment, but in the legacy that you were building today. So if you're in that place mentally checked out at home and constantly grinding at work, anxious all the time, this next part is for you. Let me give you 4 real ways to destroy procrastination with faithfulness. And I'm not just giving you some theory. This is stuff that I'm actually walking out with my clients. and it works if you work it. So the first one is you got to feel the cost. Don't just count the days. I want you to take 10 minutes today. Write down what your delay is actually costing you. Is it robbing you intimacy with your wife? Is it keeping your kids from the example that they need? Is it causing you to miss God's divine setups? Is it costing you that precious, precious time in the presence of God? Get specific. When you see it on paper, your comfort loses its grip. And then number 2, you've got to decide once, not every time. Pre-decide. When God says move, you just got to move. Let this be the year of yes for you. No more renegotiating every time that life gets hard. The strongest leaders, spiritual and strategic, don't revisit the same decisions 100,000 times. They settle on it. May their yes be yes and their no be no. And they build around it. Faithfulness isn't about how you feel in the moment. It's about the decision that echoes across your moments. And then 3, start smaller than it feels impressive. I know. Stop waiting for the big lunch or the big presentation. Instead, take one small, radical, obedient-sized step. And in the Redprint intensive that I mentioned earlier, I teach a tool called the First 5 Framework. It breaks any big goal into 5 micro steps so you can take action immediately, because motion kills doubt. Motion kills doubt, and faithfulness stacks wins. And then finally, step 4 is anchor in God's voice, not the noise that you hear around you. Here is your new morning routine, non-negotiable. Before you reach for your phone, before you grab your coffee or any of that, thank Jesus. Take a moment and thank God and listen for Him. Scriptures before screen, prayer before plans. The longer you delay, the harder it is to hear. But the closer you get to God's voice, the easier it is to hear it, understand it, and obey it. It's like a frequency on a radio. I might be dating myself in this moment, but if you're not tuned in to the frequency of what God is speaking, then you will miss that moment. Even when it's hard or unclear or inconvenient, remember, it will be clear to obey if you're closer to the source. Remember, we don't obey for outcomes. We obey because we trust the one who has called us in the first place. And let me land the plane with this. To the man who sent the message, and to every man silently wrestling with the same storm, this is your permission to trade anxiety for God's alignment in your life, to swap hustle for holiness, to drop the pressure and to pick up peace. You don't have to keep performing. You just have to be faithful with what's in your hands. So if you take these 4 and actually walk them out, you are going to feel something change. But if you want more, if you want these tools and the accountability and a coach in your corner to lock in this lifestyle, that is why I really encourage you to step into this Redprint intensive that I put together, a 90-day program of chiseling away the lies, anchoring your actions in truth, and stepping into your full God-given role as a leader, a husband, a father. If you're ready, it's really simple. Find me on Instagram at coach.redwallace. Drop me a DM that says faithful, and I will get you those details. Let me close with this. Your wife doesn't need you to be perfect. Your kids don't need you to be rich. Your team doesn't need you to be brilliant. They need to see a man who starts when he says he'll start and finish when he says he finishes what God put in his hands. Here is the challenge. It's simple. Before you go to sleep tonight, take one thing that you have been putting off for far too long and do it. If you want to change, then change. Make the step today. It doesn't have to be a big, huge, grand gesture. It can be the tiniest, smallest step, and those steps will compound over time. And once you've done it, I want you to come back to this video and drop a no more delay in the comments and reply to someone else's comment while you were there. Encourage them, hold them up. Faithfulness grows faster when we stand together. Procrastination is easy. Faithfulness is rare. But when you choose faithfulness over your feelings, you build a life God can trust with more. Don't wait for the rain. Start building your ark now. And again, if you want someone in your corner while you're doing this, someone to help you chisel away those lies, anchor your faith, and lead you to true identity, drop me a DM, faithful in all caps, on my Instagram at coach.redwallace, and I will personally answer back, and we will make a tailor-made plan, one-on-one private coaching for you, designed for you, so that you don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay procrastinating. You can step into the person that God has called you to be right now. So until I see that DM from you, I'm praying for you. I love you, friend. Now let's go conquer this week and live better than best. And I will see you in this next video that will give you another piece to this puzzle that gets you to living faithful, not in a stuck, procrastinated, paralyzed state.